all at once, of course there's an increase in crime. It's amazing how fast it happens.
But you reporters are asking to find the history. You want to even know the police. What is it called again? The history of the police. That they have to let
Civilian complaint?
something that
CCRB, Civilian Complaint Review Board.
something that we have a right to know where the password should be.
FOIA, Freedom of Information.
But
I knew, yeah, they're now giving that information out. You know, I don't suppose we're talking about complaints against the cop.
Yeah.
In the past, and I don't know how that bears on anything.
They used to redact it, and now.
you're not a young guy. You're like me. Do you? I mean, you've read stories, you've written stories, you know of all this craziness is going on.
That's right.
I'm not asking us. Supposedly we're idiots because the mayor and the governor. I know you hate the governor. I love you so much.
Not fair.
Why are they treating us like children?
Well, because they feel they can, you know. I mean, because I don't understand why people tolerate this kind of thing, but they do. A lot of people want to be told what to do, but most of all, they want to be considered. We're wrapped up in this ideology, is what it is. It's the people who attacked you tonight. Actually, you know that. You have certain groups, and they'll use any kind of a wedge issue, which is not actually what they're there for, and it's a disaster. It's just a disaster. We're looking at a time when shootings are up. The cops want to do their jobs with a revolving door justice. I mean, even in the Post today, a guy who's been arrested 40 times already. We have mentally ill people, a Thrive program that cost $1 billion or a couple of $1 billion or whatever, it did nothing.
It's $2.5 billion, but $1 billion was misplaced.
Oh,
the mayor's wife.
Misplaced. That's a lot of money to misplace.
I'm blaming Pat for that because you didn't tell us about it. You should have stopped it.
I've been speaking about this every week, even before all this police reform started, in 19 as we were leading into 20. We were saying this is going to be a big problem. There's going to be a big problem. The jails, you can't say they're overcrowded and then say we have fewer people incarcerated than ever and we have a safer city for it.
Right. But I have a question for you. According to the papers, crime was down last year.
Well, by certain measures.
Actually, let me make a point here. Yeah, crime is down maybe in some respects. Shootings are not. The bellwether indicators, shootings, homicides, all that stuff is up. And here's something that we saw all this bad behavior during the riots last summer. But now these people think they're allowed to engage like that, to carry on, to spit in the cop's face. You were here for the Crown Heights riots back in '91.
Yeah.
That went on for 2 days until somebody said, you know what, this is over.
2 days, 2 straight days of rioting and people being beaten and dying.
It's in 93, right?
It was 91.
Okay.
How did that riot end? That would end when the police department moved in force, started cracking heads and locking people up. They were put in jail. They weren't given desk appearance tickets. That behavior was never acceptable. But after the George Floyd thing last year, now people think they're entitled to go up and get in your face and scream and do this. And you know what? That's not how civilized society operates.
We have a question for you. Do you agree that the commissioner has to listen to the mayor on policing? I mean, of course the mayor is the boss, but the police chief, I don't think, I'm not gonna knock Shay, but he's actually bossed around by the mayor. I mean, I don't understand. It's his job. I mean, I understand he has to listen to his people, but the bottom line is the police chief is in charge of the police, not the mayor. And he's listening to the mayor doing policing. It doesn't work like that, or does it?
Well,
No, don't give me excuses. Don't give me excuses.
Civilian leadership, at the end of the day, they are in charge.
Of course, they're in charge of the rules, but the police chief is in charge. I mean, I want to tell you something. They arrested me on a sighting a riot which never happened. And the police chief told me, they had me on a video conference the next day telling me to help the community, to work with, the next day the police chief with 40 police officers, nobody was arrested, nobody was ticketed, nobody nothing. And then again, the mayor calls up his chief and says, go get him. Now, I don't understand it. That's not allowed. The police chief is the one who has to make that decision. Isn't that the way it works?
It's the way it should work.
May I interject?
It was an abuse of
Hold on.
power. Abuse of power.
No, here it is. Here we go. Go ahead.
Well, we have a mayor right now. I mean, say what you want about Mayor Bloomberg, but you know what he did do is he let Ray Kelly do his job.
That, you just heard that? Did you hear what he just said? Exactly what you said.
Yeah, he delegated and Ray Kelly knew what to do. He's the policeman here, you know, and
I
Bloomberg knew that.
I want to say a quote over you. Deeds speak, words are nothing. You understand that? Deeds speak. The commissioner has to speak. You just can't let us say words. We gotta get out there and do the job right, not burning our stores. You know, I went to see Pat in his studio. Your stores are closed in Manhattan. You're not embarrassed boarding up beautiful stores in Midtown Manhattan next to your office. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm embarrassed.
Never should have happened.
I live over there. I live in that neighborhood. That neighborhood is not recovered from last year, between COVID, between the riots. Now they moved all these homeless hotels in there.
Yeah, we're gonna get to you. You better talk to us about
We
it.
saw homeless outside the studio in Manhattan.
I couldn't be right in front
We
of
couldn't
you-
believe
in
it.
front of your studio.
In front.
We had people homeless there, and we didn't know what to tell you. And you know what bothered me? I went to the city I went to your neighborhood for a Shabbos, the Sabbath, and I couldn't go to a hotel because the homeless took it over.
It's completely insane. And I'm talking big hotels.
Yeah.
Now, the mayor says they were spending $3 million a day on renting these hotel rooms, which the mayor, we all know, the Hotel Owners Association are big fans of the mayor. I think they line his pockets very well when it comes to political donations and stuff. So now you have a city that's completely devoid of tourists. So what do? It works out for the hotel guys. They can get some of these homeless people off the streets. These are big hotels. I had a couple of jobs I had to go in there just before I retired. They're gonna have to gut these places and renovate them when
Exactly.
they're done, because they become horror hotels. It's terrible.
Pat,
Yes.
I want to talk about education.
Okay.
Are we stupid? I mean, our kids are gonna be stupid. I mean, he runs your school. 1 point, what is it, 1 million? I don't know exactly how many kids.
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, he's so proud of putting 50,000 children back in school when I had 60,000 in my community back in school. Our kids, your kids, all of our kids are going to be stupid next year. I mean, you cannot keep a kid out of school. And you know, I heard between 11 and 16, the suicide.
If they're training them to be, I mean, they're not only going to be stupid, they're going to be socially awkward. They don't know what a face looks like anymore. Yeah, I mean, all the learning from home has been ridiculous and not effective, and we all know that. And the teachers union definitely has too much say over how this goes.
Too much power, this teachers union.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed that they kept, and you know, I'm embarrassed to tell you, Pete, but we kept our Jewish schools and boys open. You want to take a phone call? Let's take a phone call. We'll take some questions later. Go ahead, take a call.
Hi, you're on the air with Heshy, not Boomy, Soya, and Pat, and
Pete.
Pete the
Pete,
cop. Go
the
ahead.
cop, and Shimon on the side.
Pete,
Wow.
that's wow.
Well, you know what?
First to explain what that means. Thank you for your call.
Here's the thing, you remove qualified immunity. Who of all the city employees is going to be engaging in physical confrontations in the street? It's gonna be police officers. That's where your lawsuit's gonna come from. Now, this is the only police department in the entire country that's subject to this restriction right now. Another thing is, outside agencies will no longer come into New York City to do work here, because now they're afraid that their employees are gonna be subject to this. Qualified immunity exists for all government officials. If you want to remove it from the cops, here's my thing, remove it from the prosecutors, the judges, the city councilmen. If that judge, again, you know, they're cutting people loose on gun charges, then they go out and do a homicide. Well, if that judge had to face some kind of financial lawsuit because of his actions, guess what? That judge would not make that decision. City councilmen would not enact laws, this pandering garbage that they put out there to restrict the cops. If they knew, because of those actions, they would get sued.
In fact,
Yes.
you know, Mayor de Blasio, whatever, took away $1 billion from our police officers and Pete. Big deal. what do we care? I mean, it's good, maybe we could use the money, to go down to Atlantic City or something, I don't know.
Oh, sure, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they have plenty of people that are
$1 billion.
very
Not a
happy
million.
to take that money,
But not $1 billion. You know what $1 billion is? I mean, how could he do that? I
But,
mean,
and well, he's extremely slick, and he does everything, he tries to do it by the letter of the law, but I mean, he's elected twice somehow, and what can I say? He's just crooked, and he made it
but
work.
the police don't need it because nobody argued for it.
It's
Well, nobody argued,
demoralizing to the cops.
nobody argued for the $1 billion.
First of all, anytime you say anything, people immediately turn around. Like, my big gripe was with the $1 billion missing out of Thrive NYC.
We know.
Thrive NYC is, most of that money goes to one big nonprofit. Then it gets divvied out to all the little nonprofits. I've said this before, I said it on Pat's show. The nonprofits are the miracle grow of political corruption and graft. That money goes into these nonprofits, it's poorly accounted for, there's not much in the way of any kind of accounting system. It's overseen by Letitia James, State Attorney General. She has maybe a half dozen people to look into thousands of these nonprofits. So that money goes out the door, nobody knows where it goes.
Wait, you mean the violence interrupters are not,
Well, the violence interrupters, that's a prime example of money going out the door. But if you now, if it was Heshy Tischler lost $1 billion, forget it. They would have kicked down the door, you'd be in jail, and that would be that.
Right.
If you turn around because it was Shirley McCray, as soon as you come out and say something, people say, well, that's racist that you're saying that.
I want you to know exactly, I called her a name, and the second I called her a name, they said I called her a coon. I never heard of that.
Oh.
He didn't have to tell him what that word meant.
I don't even know coon. I heard it was used in the 1800s. I called her a corva, which is some kind of a hooker name, whatever. She stole $1.5 billion, so I got angry. So I called her a name because a lady who takes $1.5 billion and makes it. Do you know what I could do with $1.5 billion?
I do not.
I work with the homeless.
Heshy, you could have called her a madam.
Whatever. I could have built 1,600 apartments, 1,600 brand new apartments, given them to homeless people in good neighborhoods and run decent programs. I've now gotten 3, instead of 90 homeless shelters where you're pissing away money, I got 3 senior adult centers approved for the same kind of money you got. Instead of having 100 people or 14 people in the room, it's going to be 2 people in the
But
room.
actually, here's the whole thing. This money, it's missing. They can't find, well, she says it was misplaced. If we lived in normal times,
Where does a Corva put the misplaced money?
Okay, stop it.
I'm sorry.
under the mattress, I don't know, but here's the thing, that money, if it was anybody else, if we lived in normal times where we didn't have this insane behavior going on, man, these people would have been indicted, arrested. I think if you took a serious look at where the Thrive NYC money is, quite a few people, there'll be a lot of vacancies on the city council, that's for sure.
Bunch of idiots who don't know how to do anything.
But there will probably be half the city council and a good chunk of the politicians in the city would have major legal problems.
And that's misplacing $1 billion. That's a mistake, you've made it work, right? Can you imagine the kind of accountability the police have? If they make a mistake at work, that's getting rid of qualified immunity means they can be sued personally and held responsible for that. So you could lose everything based on just
I think
one.
$1,000 in theft is like a felony.
Right.
So like, what's $1 billion? Like
Right.
what do you call that?
Yeah, try to steal $1 billion worth of merchandise from
Okay.
the
We have a
main
call.
region.
So before we take a call, you brought in a book, The Last Days of New York.
Yes, sir.
I didn't read the book, but my question to you is Pat, do you really believe we're at the last days of New York?
Well-
I want to know, I'm truthfully, I'm asking from your heart. Can you fix us? Can we get better? Because I'm going to go after Pete too, because he better come help me when I get into office. I'm dragging you in, Pete. Yeah, I'm warning you. I need advice. I'm not going to let you do this to us. I'm not letting the last days of New York come on. I work too hard in the city. I raised too many kids. I'm not letting it. I want you to tell me, do you, honestly, in your heart,
Here's what
are
I
we
ask.
done or are we not done?
Here's what I honestly believe. Anything's fixable. Of course, civilizations come and go. A lot of people think we're on the back end of ours. I really don't know. I think that what's important about this book, The Last Days of New York, is that we realize that can happen. If things don't change, that could happen. This is how dire it
Look
is.
at where we were at the end of the Dinkins administration, okay? This city was literally on the ropes. It could have went either way. It could have been rebuilt, or we're gonna wind up looking like Detroit. Giuliani comes in, and Giuliani brought in broken windows policing. We cleaned the city up. Within 2 years, crime plummeted. Why? Because we went after people, we aggressively policed the city, and you know what? Put these people in jail. Guess what? Bad guys stopped carrying guns.
The no broken window policy, I remember that. They wiped out all the graffiti, they painted it over. Store owners had to contribute a few dollars to it, part of their, like a taxation or something, a few $100s a year, and they would cover your graffiti. If anything was broken, it was fixed up, and there was no revolving door.
No.
You committed a crime, and you were a repeat offender, they were not gonna give you a chance to repeat that crime.
Everything-
Am I not allowed to, I know you're not gonna like this question, I want Pat to answer this too. Am I not allowed to make a mistake? Can't I mess up and get another chance?
If you're not a cop, you
You know
can't.
what?
That was great. Really, that was
It was
good.
like,
That was very good.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you something.
Did you just hear what he said?
Some of my friends, people that I know, are convicted felons.
Okay.
They're good people. They might have had trouble earlier in their lives, and a lot of people, you know what, after they've been to prison, they're like, I don't wanna go back there again. But then you have a small segment of society that are the repeat offenders. They generate most of the crime. And you know what? They're not being prosecuted now. They're not even going into central booking to get cut loose. When you let those people run amok, they can destroy a city. And we're not talking about a whole lot of people either.
So are we going, you're not gonna like this question, what's the proper word, when we're just, looking at the black people, what's it called again?
Profiling.
Profiling. Are we?
I thought you were gonna say watching the game.
Are we profiling the black people? Are we picking on, according to the Black Lives Matter, we're taking away their houses, we're not letting them live, we don't give them enough money to pay rent. We're actually going after only black people.
All right, we have to understand, you gotta define Black Lives Matter. Do Black Lives Matter? Of course they do. The organization itself, Black Lives Matter, is run by a bunch of hardcore Marxists. The lady that's one of the lead people, she actually was convicted and spent almost 30 years in jail for blowing up the United States Congress in 1983. These are hardcore anti-American people, and they work.
She almost blew up the
She
place.
did blow it up.
And that's okay?
She went to jail, but she comes out some years later, and here she is now. She's one of the top people over at BLM. They've raised tremendous amounts of money, and you know what? They're just another form of grifters, the people at the top.
But are we profiling black people?
No, we're not.
We're not.
We're not.
Okay.
No, it was never an issue.
And now, Pat,
Yes.
January 6th, you know the deal, the date. Do I have to tell you, I have to remind you what happened?
Oh, no, never forget the terrible insurrection.
Yeah, I was there. I got you a couple of people went in there. I know they did some stupidity, but they're making, what is it, committees, investigations. It's over, man. It's over.
Yeah, they're after everybody. They're going, we're gonna track everybody down. We had riots. How many months of riots in a row? How many daily riots? Stuff burning down.
Still on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Still
every
going
day.
on.
Go ahead.
Still going on, and nationwide too. And this is the epicenter of it in some ways, And what happened with any of those? If people got arrested, immediately let out. We're not prosecuting that stuff. They sent that message out. I'm talking about DAs. I'm talking about in the Manhattan DA. His name escapes me for some reason. Cyrus Vance, exactly. And this was the message they sent. Now, January 6th happens. We are going to get everybody. We're going to track them down. They have all the entire intelligence community on it. And, what are we going to do? And the profiling, actually, I don't think so. They talk about how 13% of the population is black. And yet, they account for this percentage of the shootings, But, a big problem is the very, very, easily misled people who are, it's really not a racial issue. You have white people out there predominantly doing this, doing the rioting and everything.
I know.
And they, and say they are 60, 70%, 80%, would you say, of them out there? And they only get 5% of the shoes that are stolen.
Wow.
So.
I hate you. Line 2, take a call, Sawyer. Hello, you're on there with Heshy Sawyer, Copy the Cop, and Pat Dixon.
hello, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi, you're on there with Heshy, Pat, Pete, Chimmin, and Soya.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm so happy I met you boys there and you let me speak. And did you enjoy me speaking over there? Did you enjoy it? Thank you, my brother.
Amen.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. You got it. What he was saying, I go to different events and I went to this restaurant. I only came there to speak to like 25 people. Let me get up, sir. I came to speak to like 25 people, and then when I got up to speak, the entire restaurant was quiet. They all listened. And what I want to tell you is what I've been telling everybody. If we don't stand up, all of us, one at a time, not only do we have to back the police, we have to go to the police, we have to support the police, we have to love them, we have to say hello to them. They want a pat on the back. We're not going to stand up. We should, Pat, go after him. I want you to torture this man because he's not telling us the truth here, Pat. Pat, I want more. I want Pat, I want to know more because when I get into city council, I swear to you, I'm not going to let these 35 new councilmen get away with it. I'm not going to let you pass 30 pieces of legislation every month. I want it to be transparent. You know, I mean, Pat,
Yes.
you're
Pay attention to what they would to look. I read the news just like you do. And a media that's very, very in the bag for a certain ideology, and that's the way it is. They leave out the important things, and occasionally they'll say the quiet part out loud, but we just have to hope for the best. I mean, the media is it's a coin flip at best as far as whether or not it's on.
They're manipulating the news. They shouldn't be manipulating. They should be reporting the news, not telling the angles that they want.
And I read the New York Post. And we have the New York Post. We have the New York Daily News. I always enjoyed the New York Post, and even the New York Post now. It's you see things bending in a certain direction there as well. It's very manipulative writing. It's very manipulative reporting, and I just make jokes out of it.
Tell us a joke. Tell us something funny. I want to hear it.
Oh, you put me on the spot here, Heshy.
Make it about Heshy. Make it about Heshy.
No.
Heshy, I'm going to say something in all seriousness. A man like you really are an inspiration. Anybody who is actually saying these things, you're sort of like a polite Jewish Travis Bickle. And that's exactly what the city needs right now, is a hero like you.
Oh, well, did you hear what Pat said? We have to hope. I don't understand that. Really, Pete, I have to hope that we're gonna be lucky. I don't agree with you. We must do the right. I don't wanna pray that tomorrow morning my wife comes out of the house and she gets shot or raped, or like today, my 2.5-year-old granddaughter could have gotten hurt. Pete, I understand. I know you're not gonna like what I'm gonna
Actually, I
say.
spoke to Linda. She was slightly traumatized
But
by
I'm asking
this.
you, I know you're a cop and you're not gonna be happy what I'm gonna say now, but I'm not like the rest of you guys out down the street. If the guy would have hurt my family, I would have hurt him. I would have gone after him. I wouldn't have cared if the police came. I would have done your suicide by cop. I would have gone after him.
And rightfully so.
But then I would have been. I was so nervous about hitting back. And you have to explain this to me, because Pete, if I would have hit him back, he could have made a complaint and I would have gone to jail too. Why?
Actually, there are times now, especially dealing with a lot of crazy people walking around the city. I'm a retired police officer, and some of these people every now and then want to get in your face. I avoid it. I try to stay away from it, because should I get aggressive back, say I have to draw my weapon or whatever to back somebody off, they're coming after me. They'll want to lock me up for threatening this man.
Is that crazy?
It's insane.
And
It's absolutely insane.
and what's the solution?
Well, here's the solution. This is like a 2-point answer here. You got that book in your hand, The Last Days of New York. We're at the precipice. It can go either way. If we wind up in a situation where we get a Maya Wiley or some other knucklehead in there, we're going to have a Chicago type situation within a year or two from here now, where you talk about black on black crime. The black on black crime in Chicago is disgusting. It's horrendous. It is unbelievably bad. Yet nobody mentions it in Chicago. They just don't bring it up. They don't acknowledge that it's going on. So we're at that point where if we get a leader like the mayor they have in Chicago right now, who's a complete, total dingbat, where is that going to leave New York City? And we're traveling, we're dealing, we're fighting off these progressives with their aggressive agenda, and so we're in a really dangerous time in our existence right now as a city.
Well, I
Now,
have a solution.
here's the answer.
Yeah, go
Here's what
ahead.
I'm gonna tell you. We were talking before the show about how you are loud and you are out there and you're public. That's what people need to
But you're
do.
upset with me that I'm too loud and too crazy.
You're not loud enough in my eyes.
I know.
okay?
I didn't. You see how? You look how handsome he is. More better looking than you.
I couldn't agree more. He's like Gary Cooper over there.
Let's take a phone call. Go ahead. Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, Boomy. I love Boomy. Who cares? Boomy's not here. Heshy, Sawyer,
Heshy,
and
Pat,
Pete the
Pete,
Cops.
Shimon, and Sawyer. Hello? Hi.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my brother. Unfortunately, means they want me to be better,
Feel better.
And to recover from the wounds. But
I was about to explain that to you.
I love you. You see, Pat is a good Jew. I mean, whatever. He'll get him. He just doesn't want.
We have another call.
He doesn't want the operation. Thank you for the call. I love you. We're not going to give you the operation. We'll let you pass that by.
Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, Pat, Pete, Shimon, and Sawyer.
Yes, Heshy, what's up?
Shut up your radio. What's up, Rory? What do you got for us?
Like Super Bowl Sunday. You got snacks?
Take questions. You got, thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Well, it's a good question. And Pete, I'm gonna ask you that question. Pete the cop, I'm going into city council. I'm going with it. I don't care what anybody says. What can I do? Really, here you are. I'm your counselor now. Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. You're the pro now. Don't give me excuses later on that you told me one thing and I did. Tell me what to do and I will get it done.
First off, common sense governance. Common sense. Good civic responsibility. Look out for your people. Now, you understand the legislation that these activists on the city council put forth that are making all of our lives unsafe by, the criminality and stuff that's going on. You as a councilman have to stand up and fight that. And this is what I was saying a few minutes ago. You need to be loud. It's no longer at the point where, I'm not saying we're going around rolling in the street, punching people, this and that. No, we need to be loud. We need to be in their faces, and, politely, don't be, but we have to make noise. People need to understand that, you know what? There's a small group of, we're spread around the city, but there are people that are fighting to make this a better place. You're one of them. You're one of the few people that just doesn't care.
I want your listeners to listen. I'm not talking to a crazy man. I'm talking to a police officer of 40 years who's now telling me to go out there, scream and holler and shout and try to fix legislation. Pat, a question to you.
As a comedian of 25 years, I agree.
Pat, my question to you is two questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
One, you know that your mayor, he's not mine. Pete said already, it's not his.
I certainly didn't vote for him.
You know he ran for president?
Yeah, well, you noticed. You're the guy who noticed.
We had some idiot Greenfeld, who used to be a councilman who helped him. I mean, there was a possibility, which we know is not possible, that he could have won. I mean, are we crazy? I mean, did he think that he even had a chance?
I mean, would he be worse than where we are right now? I mean, I'm not really sure. It's a toss-up. I think, if I could speak about, like you said, how do we fix it, right? The police doing their job is what they want to do. Stop getting in their way. Let them, if we just said, hey, cops, do it like you did, we would have a clean, safe city right now. We have to get out of the way of the police officers. That's all there is to it. And we have a two-tiered justice system right now, it seems like, I mean, and it's just accepted. It used to be something like that was an outrage. And now it's like, well, of course they're gonna come after you, Pete, or of course they're gonna, different crimes are treated differently according to who you are, and that's considered justified. People think violence is okay if, you can be called like a white supremacist or something like that. It's not the way America is.
But Pat, there's a guy in Florida, Christopher Messi's a friend of mine. He has a radio show called Messy Times. A wonderful guy, coolest, the smartest guy you've ever spoken to. Now he lives in Florida. That guy, his governor, is not, tell me, I mean, is not Florida the way, I mean, I'm not living there. I know you're saying, let's go, let's move, but why are they doing the things right? Why is that governor able to sign laws on transgender? The police chief gets up there and says, listen, come enjoy yourself. Do what you gotta do. I'm never gonna ever go into your civil rights. And you heard what he said? I don't care, pandemic, not. I'm never gonna take it away. Enjoy yourself, but don't cause riots, don't cause trouble, and we're gonna come after you. How on earth can this DeSantis and this chief do that when we can't do that in New York?
He has the political will to do it, he has the political ability to do it, and he knows that if you say the right things, then the right people are gonna come out. And that's what we need as a leader. You're a leader, right? We have so many leaders that are just following, you know.
He's not a leftist liberal whack job.
Right, I mean,
He's normal.
it's a mass
But
psychosis.
supposedly Cuomo, our genius leader who helped kill many people in the nursing homes, how did he get away with this? And look, he molested a bunch of women, what was it, 8, 10, 12, I don't know.
Well, that's the way they stole focus from the whole situation.
And we don't have to touch him. I mean, he can get away with this. I mean, Pat,
It's
just imagine you go and do this to one woman, or Pete, God forbid, he makes a joke even like that. We're dead meat.
Do they find him so charming, the state of New York, that he's like, oh, well, I mean, I find him to be just a personally odious person. And also, like, he's a mass murderer, in my opinion.
1,400 people in Albuquerque. I think he's done. You know,
1,000.
he went on a news conference and he quoted from my Twitter site, which was a fake Twitter, it wasn't even my Twitter. He doesn't even do the research. I mean, how does a governor make mistakes like this?
Oh,
He got where he is
Seems
on
to
his
come
father's
naturally.
coattails.
You know, Pat, we're giving away now, just for your knowledge, if you get a vaccine, you can get a free French fries. By the way, you can maybe get into a pool to get some kind of Nets tickets.
Oh, I've been vaccinated like 15 times already to get all this free stuff.
Matter of fact, you don't even have to go to a doctor or a hospital to get vaccinated. Just go to your local sanitation place and bring in your garbage and then get the vaccination.
Have you ever known of a life-saving vaccine that
Sounds
you had
so
to
sanitary.
You had to give away so much stuff to get people to take?
Actually,
This is a
I'd
life-saving
just like to
vaccine.
add in, when you go to the mainland of the United States, on the other side of the river, where you do have some normal people still out there, the state of West Virginia is giving away handguns if you come in and get a vaccine.
Now that's
a
great.
pro-gun state.
Are you serious?
Know,
AR-15. I thought it was.
No,
I thought it was a meme.
no, just nothing that big, just a handgun, you know.
A handgun for a
Are you
vaccine?
serious?
I'm told we have to take calls. People are texting us. Do we have any calls to take?
That's negative.
Okay, so number
true.
calling in
I'll be back. I'm going.
Oh, 7-0.
718-289-0070. So I mean, if I get a shot, I can go get a gun.
I think that's, I just read the article briefly today. I think if you can, they'll give you coupons to go buy guns or whatever.
Needs an order of fries.
Hesh, we were laughing before, I'd be running for mayor. I will tell you this.
No, I was not laughing. You were laughing. I believe.
Listen.
See, the problem is with you is you're the man who could do the job, and the problem is we're not hiring the right man. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us?
You know what?
Are you scared?
No. New York City is one of the toughest gun control cities in on this planet. But here we are, we have perpetrators who shouldn't be carrying guns getting let out, you know, right from the station house or from court. You know what? How about we streamline the process and make it easier for the average citizen to get a handgun, a homeowner, a business owner. It's almost impossible in New York City, and that's one of the things that, you know, the anti-gun movement goes on against. And I'm not exactly what you would call a pro-gun guy either, but give the working guy a fair chance. We have all these criminals carrying guns now. I don't think that the public, you know, should be engaging in shootouts or anything like that. That's not what I'm advocating at all. But you know what? If somebody wants a weapon for their home, for their business, they should be allowed to carry it. They should not be, you know, put through the jumps and through the ringer.
There's a check cashing guy down the block, and he has a gun for like 30 years, and they just took it away from him. I don't know how they could do that. I mean,
Why?
The guy has to
Why?
be scared.
Why? Why would, if somebody's gonna get held up and has a legitimate right for self-defense and to protect his business and his life, It's the guy in the check casher.
But don't stop and frisk a guy who's jumping a turnstile now.
No, you can't do that. That'll get you sued. That guy that's carrying.
If you have two businesses and one has a gun and one doesn't, and you know, which one are you gonna try to rob? It's just common sense.
I love you, Pat. I really, that was a good one. This guy's okay. I love him. I would still try to rob the guy with the gun, I guess, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play on the same team.
But actually, that's the kind of common sense. Those are the things, though, that, you know what? We're enabling it for bad guys to go out and go after the legitimate citizens. That's what we've done. People don't feel safe in their homes. They don't feel safe in their businesses. They don't feel safe walking on the streets anymore.
I used to feel safe in my home. I promise you, my door is open. Ask anybody, ask Sawyer, my door is open for people to come. Today actually scared me, and not me. I mean, I'm not scared, but Linda is gonna kill me when I get home tonight, guys. I'm a dead man, because Linda told me to retire, told me not to do this. But you know what, Linda? If it's not me, it's somebody else. And it just can't go on. I cannot stand, listen to me people, before my holy maker and tell him that I stood there and allowed somebody else to get hurt, somebody else to commit suicide. I can't. And I will not, Pete. And I promise you when I get to city council, I don't know how, but we have 35 new councilmen. Somebody's telling me the connection is not so good on the phones. Our producer there, come on, our phones are ringing.
You know how illogical it is that they have the revolving door with criminals coming out? It wasn't like this. This is something I just want to point out and clarify for people, because I don't think they really get how crazy this world has become. Pete, when a person committed a crime years ago,
You went to jail.
and they went to jail, and when they were up for parole or to come out, they had to show, I think, am I wrong? They had to show remorse, or for depending on the crime. Now you have people saying, as they're being released, I'm going to do it again.
I want to ask Pat one question. Pat, drugs, could this be? I mean, you know we legalize marijuana, and I'm not fighting with you, Pete. I got you. We can't control it. Go ahead, grow a plant at home, smoke it at home. But we are going to, Pat. I'm telling you now, Pat. We're going to sell marijuana in the stores and the corners. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but if we smoke marijuana, you can't tell me the next day that you're going to be able to do your job. You can't tell me that you're going to be able to take tests when you're storing the marijuana. Maybe once, maybe twice. How are we, I mean, I believe most of our issues in this city, now that we don't have to work anymore, we get free unemployment, to buy drugs on every corner. Wow, we're druggies, we're allowing massage parlors to be legalized. Forget about it, now our drugs are gonna be legal. So, Pat, I know you're a more modern, hip American. You're cool.
You're the only one who thinks that.
No, I like you because you're cool. I like the way you act, the way you talk. Drugs, talk to me. I'm against it. I don't care what you say, Pete. I'm against it. I know it'll help control if we watch.
I mean, here's the reason that they're doing it. An armed society is a polite and engaged society. A stoned society is a passive society.
Ashamed.
And that's what they're
ashamed
doing.
that I actually believe you right now. I'm ashamed. And Pete, you've done this 40 years. We can't. I know you want to try to control the drug situation, but I've seen the kids. I've seen them commit suicide. I know it's not addictive, if that's what you want to say. I can't allow you to sell it in stores and corners.
I have to laugh because what's happening now, and I didn't realize this early on, with the legalization of marijuana in different states, it's like anything else the government becomes involved in. They essentially destroy it. So years back, we had off-track betting in New York City, all right? Talk about a moneymaker. Only New York City could bankrupt off-track betting, okay? And that was done to, in opposition to the organized crime guys running gambling.
The only people that can become criminals is the government.
But what
Don't
happens?
cut into their business.
The government takes over and they run it into the ground. Now, you look at situations going on like with the marijuana, it's become another problem already with restrictions and regulations and taxation. It's that the underground marijuana economy is booming again. Everybody says, oh, this will take the wind out of their sails. No, it hasn't. It's made it worse. It's like everything else the government gets involved. As Ronald Reagan once said, the 5 most scariest words from the government to help you, and
Yeah, sure.
they're gonna mess it up.
Can you imagine somebody? I only smoke legal weed. I only smoke government-sanctioned taxed weed.
Will marijuana, I mean, you've seen this, I don't even want to, I want you to reply. You've seen how somebody does drugs and gets worse and worse and worse.
It's a gateway drug. Is it the worst stuff in the world? I'm not gonna come out. I don't think, kids should be, if people are older people, they
If
should.
they're home and they want to grow up, but they shouldn't be able to buy, and they have this new weed,
Hydroponic.
Synthetic?
that you don't have
The
to
K2?
buy, it's,
Oh, vape.
vape. You don't control the dosage and you don't feel it going into your lungs and you keep going, I believe that it's gonna affect you.
I had to start smoking regular cigarettes again, so I know when to stop.
I know, I love you. We were smoking before. We're gonna get in trouble tomorrow, all three of us, because when they smell it in this office, I'm a dead man. We're not allowed to smoke in the building, but it's my building, we can smoke it. But I am upset. Take a phone call, Sawyer.
You're on the air with Heshy, Pat, Pete, Shimon, and Sawyer.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead. Pat. Are you? I love you. Beautiful question, Pat. That's
Couldn't
a
agree
good
more.
question. No, but she's right. I mean, whatever. That you force. Today I heard what's his name again, Biden, your president, saying that if you don't do the vaccine, you're going to kill somebody else. Is that true?
Oh, not at all.
You don't have to. You don't have to trust me. Go watch the videos. The man went on.
I think his actual words are, if you don't take the vaccine, you ain't black. I think that's what it said. No,
Come on, man. I got hairy legs.
It's bad news right now. I mean, I've never heard of this kind of a thing. I mean, I'm an adult. I know my health. I can do what I want, right? Whatever happened to that? That's the whole, if somebody asks if I'm vaccinated, it's none of your business. It doesn't matter. I'll vaccinate me if I want, and I won't if I want.
I'm not letting you on my plane now. You can't come on the
It's-
line.
Now
It's
that,
like-
and this is where they have
I wanna
no
ask you a
right.
question.
I'm sure that's a HIPAA violation.
I was gonna say, HIPAA, what happened to HIPAA?
That's only for,
So now,
different
Pat,
people.
Pat,
They feel differently.
I'm not letting you in my store.
And I, look, I've
Fine, I won't give you the business.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that.
Speak my
You
turn.
wanna
You're
bet?
You're making a mistake. It's not that I don't want to give you it's against the civil rights. It's
It
against
is.
my rights to go anywhere and you're opening up a store and you're using the public thing. You're not letting me on a plane. I have to prove to you stuff. This is just unacceptable.
We had 0 deaths on Monday
I
in
love
New
you.
York
I was
City.
gonna say that.
Stop. Just turn the lights back on and it's over. Let's go back to normal. Stop all this vaccination stuff, all the mask stuff, drop it.
I took my vaccine just to make everybody happy. I didn't get sick. I was all over the place. Yes, I did see people get the corona. Most of them get it. But again, according to the numbers, 90 billion people died, didn't they? I mean,
Oh yeah, 100 trillion. I think it
Right,
was.
right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All those are people with comorbidities or whatever. If you're afraid, do what you want. It's not for me. It's not for me.
you're a conspiracy theorist. Did
Proud conspiracy theorist.
Did China make this virus or not?
Yes, of course.
Really?
Oh yeah, and
Uh-huh.
Fauci.
I heard they're trying to get Fauci out now in a nice way because they heard something about it.
Yeah, this is he should be driven out of
Emails.
town on a rail. I mean, there should be pitchforks and torches as far as I'm concerned to get rid of Fauci.
Just before I left my home tonight, I started looking at stuff about Fauci. Fauci had a book that was gonna be coming out. They've now yanked it, because they also released a bunch of previously undisclosed emails that Fauci's been playing games since day one.
Yeah.
He's not been truthful to the American people. I don't think he was truthful to President Trump.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff going on now with him giving money to the Wuhan virus lab. Why the hell are we giving money to a lab in China, $50 million, to work on the coronavirus, on the bat virus?
And this stuff has been out there since last
But
April.
the
It was in
media-
Newsweek.
But the media refuses to, not because they're part of the whole, cabal of people there, but you know what? They won't go near, now they're going near the store only because it's like, people are making noise. So now they're paying attention to it.
Pete, I'm gonna ask you a final question before we finish. I don't know, and this is for you too. Everybody's telling us Donald Trump is coming back. Yes or no? Do you think so? I love him, but he's gonna be 78 years old. I know Biden did it. Do you think he's gonna waste his time and go through this craziness again? I know I'm going through an election. I don't even know why I did it. I don't know if I would do it again, but I'm going through it. Do you think Trump is going to come back, or would he even consider it?
Yeah, I think so.
And does he have a chance?
Oh, certainly.
Pat, this is all yours. Pat.
Now, I know
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about real world, but
Real
I'm
world.
gonna say something a little metaphorical. In a sense, Trump never left, and Trump isn't going anywhere, because he changed things forever. He shined a light on things and exposed the media for the partisan acts that they are, and now we see how things actually work. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And, whether he's back in person or not, running for president, or just in the corner, doing what he can, Trump is still here, and he always will be.
But Trump stopped the borders, and now we're letting the illegal immigrants in. No vaccine, no nothing. They can come right through. So whatever Trump did, too bad. They're knocking out 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they are, and it's kind of good in a way, because, it exposes, again, this is what the other side looks like. This is what happens, and they can smooth over the results and talk about how everything's peachy keen all they want, but people see it. And the longer it goes on, the more people who see it, people will stop voting for these people eventually, even fakely by mail.
Well, we're gonna have our goodbye music right now, and I want to just tell everybody, Pete, you are wonderful. I
Thank
love
you,
you,
Heshy.
and I'm warning you, Pete. When I get elected, if you disappear, you're coming into my office. You're
I
gonna
will
help me.
be.
We're gonna make changes. We're gonna make this boy sitting next to me actually report everything I do, because I'm gonna tell him everything. Everything I'm gonna tell you what's going on in that city council. I want you to come. I want you to witness. I want you to laugh at the stupidity that goes on there, and I want you to tell everybody. Make fun. I don't care if you make fun of me, but you're gonna tell us, because I'm gonna make sure that you know everything. No more hidden stuff.
This is great.
I'm watching everybody, HeshyTischler.com. June 22nd is election day. I need volunteers at 1212 Avenue M. Come on down. Don't worry, I know they're gonna come.
Good night,
after us.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Pete, I love you. Pat, I love you.
Thank you, sir.
And Pete, I thank you so much for your time. Avram, go ahead, play your music, boy.